Wow, did Piers just destroy Candace online? And when I saw this, the first thing when I woke up was run to my recording studio so that I could get on here and start talking about this humiliation that Candace experienced on Piers Morgan. And look, I've read all of your comments. Shout out to everybody who's commenting on here and subscribing. We really appreciate you. But I read your comments and so many of you said how appreciative you are of the fact that we are not watching as much Candace anymore because her voice just grates at your ears. I hope you will forgive me today because we will be watching her, but instead of us watching her just spew lies and try and respond to it, we are going to watch her absolutely fail, just abysmally fall apart as Piers Morgan asks her for a very simple thing. Do you have receipts? Just do you have receipts? And she's trying to get out of she's just trying to get out of it. She's just trying to get out of it and she can't. And in the end, she admits what we know to be true this entire time. Guys, if you enjoy watching a person fall from grace, which isn't a great personality trait to have, but sometimes when evil falls, we should all celebrate. And at this point, I think we can pretty much agree that we need to categorize Candace in the evil club. And her fall was imminent. It was always going to happen because she was getting just too high. The higher you fall, the higher you grow, the harder you fall. Everybody knows that to be true. Some of you even commented that in our latest episode, saying like, look, it's going to happen. But this is the thing about Candace. She's gotten so cocky and so sure of herself that she thought she'd get on a Piers Morgan show and be able to prove and convince the world that she's really on the right side of history, except for the fact that Piers Morgan, when he wants to play hardball and when he wants to interview somebody and actually interview him, he doesn't hold back. He does not hold back. Look, I don't particularly like a lot of the things that Piers does, but I have to say this about him. He knows how to get his interviewers to say the things that are going to go viral online, right? He just knows how to do it. And so whilst I don't think that's particularly a good moral code to have, at the end of the day, he'll come after people and push them into a corner so that he gets the content. And he got the content, my friends. He got the Candace content. It's 4.5 minutes. Pray for your soul because, again, we're going to have to be exposed to that devil of a woman who looks into our souls. But here, we're just going to watch her gasping for air, hoping against hope that she will recover, thinking that she would go on Piers and he wouldn't push against her. And her not actually having the concrete proof is just evidence of how revolting this woman is. I am so sick and tired of her, but today feels like my birthday. I will watch her downfall any day of the year. Anyways, before we do this, please make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe to our channel. If you like my t-shirt, then you can feel free to go check out our merch in the merch link. And if you appreciate what we're doing here and you want to support us, there is a donation link as well connected. We so appreciate you guys. We are creating a movement, a pushback against the madness, the absolute madness that we are seeing online. But we here today, we're a movement of rational thinking and hopeful thinking and exposing the lies and knowing what the truth is. And I hope you're enjoying it. So are you guys ready for the smackdown? Because I am.
Why would he say that?
So
Why was he so involved as somebody who's fighting a 97,000 front war?
Candace, I want to get to the reality of what you're actually saying. So when you say that somebody at Turning Point USA, Charlie's company, was complicit in his murder, who was?
I believe that there were multiple people at Turning Point who are, as I have said many times, my exact words are, they are engaged in a cover-up of what happened.
I have said multiple times they are engaged in a cover-up. There are multiple people. Who are the people, Candace? Just say. I mean, you haven't had any problem going after Bibi. You haven't had any problem going after Erica. You haven't had any problem going after Mikey McCoy or any of these people. Josh Hammer, Arian Wexler. You've gone after everybody under the sun. Why are you ashamed now? Why are you afraid now to go after the Turning Point USA people, Candace? Huh? And watch again how she does this thing where she has very specific phrasing that is so kind of vague but kind of insinuates something. So she can get out of saying, no, I didn't say that they kill people. I think that there are people there who are involved in a cover-up. By the way, that cover-up could be that Charlie Cook really liked tea and didn't tell anybody about it. And she could come out in a few months being like, yeah, that's the cover-up. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. She's so annoying.
Happened to Charlie on that day.
No, but who was involved in his murder?
I didn't say that they murdered Charlie.
You said that people at Turning Point were complicit in his murder.
No, my exact sentence that I said was that there were people at Turning Point who are engaged in a cover-up.
No, you didn't.
I believe that thoroughly.
Again, by the way, this is the tactic. I didn't say it like that. I said it like this, which means I didn't. But Piers is not having any of it. Look at him.
Candace, you didn't say that. You said literally.
I did say that on my entire
You said
show.
there were people at Turning Point complicit in his murder.
Okay.
That's what you said.
When you and I were discussing, that's why I said, let's go back.
She just stuttered, guys. That doesn't happen very often. I want to watch it again.
There were people at Turning Point
watch her face,
complicit in his murder.
Okay.
That's what you said.
When you and I were discussing, that's why I said, let's go back. I was applying.
It's glorious, guys. It's glorious.
The logic of a conspiracy to JFK. I said, okay, if JFK, you have people that are complicit. Of course,
Let's
if you
forget
apply that
JFK.
logic, if there is a conspiracy, there's going to be multiple people that are going to be complicit by the time, in order for a large stage murder to happen.
You specifically said, you didn't say complicit in a cover-up. You said complicit in the murder. Because I said who at Turning Point was involved in his murder. And
let me clarify for you. Okay, you can keep saying what I said, or you can listen to what I am saying.
Okay.
When I was using the analogy of JFK and we were connecting it, I was basically pushing back on you because you were suggesting that, all of these people being involved would be crazy. So I was applying the analogy of what happened to JFK. Well, you actually, if you go back and listen, were suggesting that a conspiracy.
I said you don't know either. You're floating theories.
When we started talking about the JFK thing,
listen, let me make it clear.
Piers, I really think you're not holding on to your thoughts
Candace,
here correctly.
let me spell my thought very clearly
when we started talking about JFK, the implication that what happened to JFK. Well, you actually, if you go back and listen, were suggesting that a conspiracy.
I said you don't know either. You're floating theories.
When we started talking about the JFK thing,
listen, let me make it clear.
Piers, I really think you're not holding on to your thoughts
Candace,
here correctly.
let me spell out my thought very clearly.
When we started talking about JFK, the implication that you were making was that it was crazy to suggest that multiple people could have been involved at different levels. I was then connecting the dots and saying that in order for the JFK assassination to happen, there had to have been tons of people that were complicit.
I understand. I heard what you said.
Maybe you're the person who takes the cameras down. Maybe you're the person that told him to drive that day. Maybe you're LBJ. So they're not all complicit in the murder, but they're all at different varying stages involved in the cover-up, right? So that's what a grand conspiracy actually is. And I do believe, so you don't have to go back and we don't have to go through it. I'm telling you what I think about Turning Point. I am very known for being honest about what I believe. I'm not exactly a person that you got to pull teeth on.
Sure.
I believe that there are people at Turning Point who are engaged in covering up what happened on that day.
But were any of them engaged in the planning of the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Okay. That's what she's trying to say. Now, again, she's made a few mistakes and she knows it and she's freaking out about it in this interview. We can see it, but she's saying, I think that there are people who were involved in the cover-up. Okay, which people, Candace? Which people?
I wouldn't know how it was planned. Absolutely, I can't make that. I cannot confidently make that statement. I can say confidently that I know they're engaged in the cover-up because I've been investigating what happened on that day and what transpired thereafter. I've been clear. I've named those people on my show. I've said they are engaged in a cover-up, and I've listed the lies. So you don't have to try to make something out of what I didn't say. I tell you what I think. It's already controversial. We don't need to get more controversial, okay? Do I think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger? No. Obviously, I don't think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger. We don't even know who did pull the trigger. So how could I say that they're...
Did anybody at Turning Point, in your opinion, know that Charlie Kirk was going to be murdered?
There is specifically 2 people at Turning Point USA, and I have communicated that information to Erica and Justin Strife, that I would not be surprised if they had foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
I would not be surprised. That's very different to the people at Turning Point USA killed Charlie Kirk, which is the thing she's been insinuating directly since the beginning of time. Well, since the beginning of time, since Charlie died. Here she's saying, there are 2 people that I wouldn't be surprised if they know. Do you see the difference in the language? Which means that maybe I will be surprised when I'm wrong. It could be one of the 2, but that's not what she's saying. She's saying this. Now, here's the thing. Again, remember this point. Keep on remembering this point. She has no problem calling people out. No problem ever calling people out. No problem calling people out. And yet, for some reason, she won't name these individuals. What happened, Candace?
Do you have any evidence?
I'm not going to name. I am not going to name those people, okay? Because it's not right for me to name those people until I know for a fact that they did.
Did you give the names Did you give the names to Erica?
Yes. So I absolutely did.
You gave the names to Erica of 2 employees, current employees at Turning Point, who you believe were involved in the preparation for the murder of Charlie Kirk. Is that what you're saying?
I told them that if I were in your shoes, these would be 2 employees that I would look further into. That's
and what evidence do you have that they had any prior knowledge of the murder?
Because I don't have concrete evidence is the reason why I'm not naming them. So I've been responsible.
You've got no evidence,
not saying...
but you're telling the widow that these 2 people may have been involved in the murder. But You see the problem?
Well, what the evidence for it is people that there was not concrete evidence. It's like you're trying to get me to say something that I never said and then asking me to defend it.
No, I'm asking what evidence
like,
you've
let's actually
got.
go to, you're asking me privately, did I communicate to them that I think you should look further? That's called an investigation, Piers.
Did you hear her? Did you hear it, guys? Did you hear it? Let's hear it again.
The murder.
Because I don't have concrete evidence is the
Because I don't have concrete evidence. She doesn't have concrete evidence. So what evidence do you have? I don't have concrete evidence, which is why I am not naming them. I'm sorry, Candace. Have we suddenly decided that we only name people when we have concrete evidence? Is that the new rule on the Candace Owens show? Because that doesn't seem to me to be at all the way we've dealt with things up until this point. But here it is, guys. Smack, bam, boom, right there. I think that people at Turning Point USA have turned. I don't believe she actually gave those names to Erica. And by the way, what she's saying here to Piers is like, there are 2 people at Turning Point USA that totally knew about it. That's my opinion. And then she says, well, I told Erica that, in my opinion, I would be very careful and check these people out. Bitch, we see you. We're done. You have no evidence. You admitted on Piers Morgan to the world that you don't have concrete evidence. And now you're going to kind of try and warp this and morph this into, well, obviously I don't have concrete evidence. This is an investigation. This is nothing to do with evidence. Bitch, this is everything to do with evidence. And man, guys, I've had enough. I apologize. Mom, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry for swearing. Think, people. Think. Listen to what this woman is saying. She has no concrete evidence. Piers hardballed her. And this is only 5 minutes of the interview. You can go watch it if you want to. Because honestly, it's so enjoyable to see her. But she's stuttering, she's mumbling, she's fumbling, she's changing her words. She's getting very frustrated and riled up, as we know she can do. And more importantly, she admits that there is no concrete evidence. And guys, can we just finish this saga now? Candace, you don't have the evidence. Go home. Go away. Move on. Go back to Brigitte. Try and discover if that woman's got penis or not. I don't care. Get out of our face. Get out of our face. And like everything that you do in your life, you're blaming people. You don't have the evidence. The Zionists, the evil Zionists are controlling America. Where's the evidence? You don't have any. You never have any evidence of the things that you alleged against people. You just throw things out so that you can be the center of attention. Your time is up. Woman, your time is up. You will not be the top podcast for much longer. You are going to fall. You are going to fall because you have tried too fast, too quick to be the center of everything, and people are starting to call out your number. Thank you guys for being here with me at The Pushback. I'm Meira K, and I appreciate your attention to this matter.